Hey guys, I hope you had a chance to catch up on all the barks announcements and videos that we did on Sunday. So I thought today what I'll do is I'll make you a short video and about a 10-minute video, and in this I'll give you a sample of what you're going to learn in a barks class. So, ready to learn? Clients are often surprised with how their dogs react around me. Hyper dogs don't tend to jump on me as much. Nervous dogs approach me a lot more easily. Reactive dogs rarely lunge and growl. And they're not understanding why the dogs are behaving differently with me. Because it's not like I've met them, this is really the first meeting. It's not like I've met them and taught them anything. So they are quite surprised when some of them ask me, is it magic? It's not. It's just knowledge. I've spent years now learning and practicing it's an acquired skill of how to use my body language to communicate with dogs. So today I thought I'll share a small portion of that with you. Just one of the tools that I use, which is how I meet and greet dogs. That first encounter is really the most important with dogs, first impressions. It sets the tone for the rest of my interactions with them and the relationship that I'm beginning to build with them. So let me show you how I do it. Okay, so let's assume that there's a dog right here, which there is. Okay. What do most of us do? I mean, they're so cute that you just feel like, oh, so cute, puppy. But I don't greet them anymore like this these days. Now what I do is, so in my office, for example, there's a long, narrow passage and clients come from there and I come from here to meet them, and I don't go and meet them like this. Instead, I open the door and I allow the dog to come to me and I wait like this. And I continue talking to the clients, how's your ride? And, what do you do? And things like that. And clients just think I have a strange style of talking. So they, very few people actually notice what I'm doing. So maybe they think this is the way I talk. But what I'm actually doing is, while I'm talking to them, I'm also talking to the dogs with my body language and hand signals. So what is it I'm saying to the dogs? And why is that such a simple, subtle thing works the way it does? To understand that, we need to understand a little bit about dogs, their perspective, and their communication. As human beings, in the ape family, we're very comfortable with a full frontal approach. We walk up to people like this. We hug people. We are a species that carries our babies. So that full frontal meeting is very comfortable for us. That's not the case in dogs. Dogs don't walk straight up to each other. So I got Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And they, if you observe street dogs, if they don't know each other and they walk straight up towards each other, you can anticipate a fight most likely. Even if they know each other and if they come straight up like this, there's going to most likely be a very rough play and jumping. Basically what it is, this approach, straight up front, is not exactly a calm approach. And we know this because we've actually studied it, put a heart rate monitor on a dog and seen this, that if somebody comes straight up, stands in front or bends over, it makes their heart rate shoot up. And would be for us too, right? Because look at it from their perspective. They're down here. It's not somebody up here. It's really somebody up here. If there was another individual here, 4 to maybe even 10 times your height, coming straight up towards you, doesn't matter what the species is, doesn't matter if you know them, they come straight up, even your heart rate will go up. And what does this translate to? Hyperactive dogs, if their heart rate shoots up, they tend to jump and bark and give you all those behaviors. Scared dogs might lunge or might get scared and run away. So then the question is there a better way of doing it? And our studies have shown that there absolutely is. Instead of meeting a dog like this and going up to the dog, wait for the dog to come to you and wait like this, and maybe even a hand signal like this. It's fascinating. So our studies show us, the heart rate studies show us that dogs do have a very different emotional response to this. Why? What are you saying to them? By doing this, what you're saying is, if he's a reactive dog, you're saying, I am not a confrontation, you don't need to bite me. If it's a scared dog, you're saying, nope, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not a threat, you don't have to be afraid. If he's a hyperactive dog, you're basically saying, I don't like that frenzied introduction, I like a calm introduction and calm meeting. So I don't like being jumped on. Right. It looks ridiculously simple. It's very subtle, but incredibly effective. And I feel that us dog lovers really need this, because us dog lovers, when we see a dog, we can't help it. We just absolutely, if there is a doggy, we absolutely feel like, oh, you're so cute, puppy. And I used to be like that too. I used to behave like, because I loved dogs so much, I used to, take for granted that every dog has to love me. But that's not really the case, and that it doesn't mean that they're going to be accepting of that kind of an approach. For example, we know of people that we absolutely love, but some of them really violate our personal space, and it feels uncomfortable around them, doesn't it? I don't want to be that person to dogs. I now have a different perspective. I feel like, because I'm a dog lover, I should be the one person in the room who knows how to respect the dog's space. And I always get rewarded for it. One way or the other, if I have patience, I get rewarded for it. So though they might not approach me straight up, I see that they walk around during the consult, or if there are other people, they walk around, but there's a moment where they look at me and it feels like what they're saying is respect. And sure enough, that's because I gave that to them. I said respect right at the beginning. And they're just reciprocating it, and then they tend to warm up very quickly, and sometimes they even come up to me. And people are surprised. They say, oh, that's probably because you smell of dogs, and that's why they're coming towards you. Now, most of us dog lovers smell of dogs. What it is I'm using my body language to talk to them. So as you can see, guys, not magic, just body language skills. And the really interesting part is, this is just the tip of the iceberg. When you get better and better at using body language, there's a lot more you can say to dogs. For example, in my day-to-day life, there's a lot more I say. So I made a little list for you here. It's not really exhaustive, but for example, if I'm working with scared dogs, to say things like, don't be afraid, it's okay, I'm there to protect you. Or reactive dogs to say, oh, don't worry about the sound outside, it's not meant for you. I'll be right back. For separation anxiety, I'll be right back, you don't have to follow me. Or setting boundaries, wait, don't come there, don't come here, or wait, don't go forward yet, turn right, turn left, you can't go there, I didn't like what you did. Or reassuring messages, will you please come here, I love what you did, I love you. A whole host of things can actually be communicated. Now, I'm not talking about training, guys. This is not about commands to say all of these things. If you want that, there are lots of YouTube videos. That's not it. I'm talking about using body language that inherently animals understand to start communicating with them. Now, the cool thing is, when I teach this to my students, a lot of them try this on street dogs that they've never met before. Other animals too, like cows and cats, and they say it works. Horses, it works. People who work with wildlife often tell me that, they use some of the skills there too. So it seems like a lot of the animal kingdom is able to respond to some of this body language things. But it's really the dogs who give us the best response. And this is what 101 is going to be all about. 2 days of learning just this. Well, this and the other half of this side, which is, one is how do we communicate with them, and how do they communicate with us and with each other. Of course, we know they bark, and we interpret it also a little bit. We know that maybe they growl when they're angry, maybe they whimper when they're afraid or hurt, bark when they're excited. But did you know that there are at least 7 different kinds of barks alone that say different things? And that's not just it. Did you know that there are at least 30 odd body language and facial expression signals that they use to talk to each other? even across species. I've actually seen my dog exchanging these signals with a horse, and the horse giving the signals back too. And I love this about dogs, is that they try to use these signals to talk to us too. And once you learn it, you suddenly feel like you have the insider knowledge on what's going on with them. And that's really what we're going to be doing in 101. Of course, we have a bunch of other things too, like I'll be covering important things like anatomy, equipment, movement, appropriate and optimal mental and physical exercise and things like that. But what I'm really excited about, guys, for you is that at the end of this 2-day course, I'd like you to be able to walk out and suddenly feel like you're talking to the animal kingdom. So, excited yet? Ready to learn? Sign up for Canine Essential 101. Registrations are now open.